We're back. Hit it. All right, welcome back to OffandRunningg. It's been a long time. Drew Woods, a very sunburnt Drew Woods, and alongside me, as always, Mr. Ever-Present Josh Barron. Josh, I can only apologize. We've been away for so long. We haven't been on live on the air since when? I think
it's probably before school. I mean, haven't been able to get together. You going to Eastern, me going to UConn. It's tough to get the episode together, but
it's all of 10 minutes away, which is impossible to get together. It's been a long way. It's been about a month and a half since summer started. There was a big problem with trying to construct a studio. As I said, we can only apologize. Should have been done sooner, but at the end of the day,
we're back.
Yeah, we're back. So, Josh, we just hit the All-Star break. Actually, Mets and Giants play tonight.
Yep.
Your boys
on ESPN.
Yep. But essentially, this is the All-Star break. So what we thought we would do is discuss a couple of topics that are relevant in MLB baseball so far. So on this episode, we're going to be discussing the worst signings of the season, our halfway MVPs, and our unsung heroes this season. Josh, let's get started with our MVPs so far. Your first half MVP, who you got?
Well, for me, it's a no-brainer, and Adrian Gonzalez. The Red Sox went out and got this guy from the Padres. Just been having an unbelievable season. Leads the league in batting average, tied with Jose Reyes in the whole MLB for batting average. He got 17 home runs. Leads the league in RBIs. He's got like 77 RBIs. And he's just helped the Red Sox to first place in the AL East going into the All-Star break.
Adrian Gonzalez had a wonderful first half, which I'm sad to see as a Yankees fan, but he's been absolutely brilliant for Boston. He got off to a very slow start in the first, I would say, 3 weeks of April, but ever since he's been absolutely dynamic. He's really hit hard the green monster out and left, and he's everything that a Fenway left-handed hitter should do. He covers the field all the way left to right, hits for average, hits for power.
That's right, plays Gold Glove defense as well. He's an excellent defender to go along with the great hitter that he is.
So he's a brilliant player. I went with Jose Bautista, a.k.a. Joey Bats, up in Toronto. Usually, I do not pick players that... My biggest criteria for a MVP should be a guy who's on a playoff team, but just because this is a first half thing, let's be honest, Toronto's not going to make the playoffs. But Jose Bautista so far has hit 334, 31 home runs, and 65 RBIs. Now, a guy who's that many home runs with that few RBIs, they can just...
shows you something about the team. And
somebody's got to get on that team for him. I feel bad he's got to deal with people like Aaron Hill, who's supposed to be good and can't hit over 220.
One great year, and then he just goes all downhill. But you said it perfectly. That's what the experts look at. I mean, he might put up the best numbers in the league, but at the end of the day, they're going to finish in third place in the AL East and probably 15 games back when it's all said and done. And it's really going to have no impact on his team.
He's had a great first half, and it's nice to see for him. He's a good kid. He's worked hard. He's spent his first 5 seasons on 5 different teams, I think, so it's nice to see a kid, somebody shows his faith in him, and he's produced the goods.
Yeah, a lot of people thought he was going to be a one and done, have one great year last year, and then didn't think he can keep it up this year, but he's really lived up to the hype and putting up outrageous numbers.
So that's our MVP thoughts. So we're moving on to our unsung heroes, just a category about who has been underrated for their teams and across baseball, but have been absolutely instrumental in picking up their teams and have really been helpful.
Well, I got to go with David Robertson from the Yankees, because you look at the Yankees bullpen with all those players getting hurt, Soriano, Jabba, Phil Hughes went down. I know he's a starter, but still a big pitcher. And he's come out and out of nowhere put up, he's got 56 strikeouts in 35 innings. He's coming in and playing the 8th inning role terrific in front of Mariano Rivera. He's got a 1.27 ERA and really stepping up in a time of need for the Yankees, where they don't have many other players who can be doing that for him right now.
David Robertson has been, in my opinion, just an exceptional pitcher for really a couple of seasons now. He's been very underrated, even by the Yankees within the clubhouse. But when you consider that coming into the season, he was arguably a guy that was not going to do much, because they brought in Soriano to be 8th inning guy. You still have Job on the books. You have Damaso Marte. I know he's essentially a ghost at this point, but Pedro Feliciano, good call. You've got all these guys who were ahead of him in the pecking order at one point, and they all have been dropping like flies due to injuries. And Robertson, he's a guy who's a very hard worker. He didn't come into the season thinking, oh, it shucks, I'm only going to be pitching in like 5th or 6th inning. I'm not going to be doing much for his team anymore. Maybe I'm going to get moved, something like that. No, he's kept his nose to the grindstone, and he's been working hard, and he's paid his due diligence, and it's all paid off. And he's been absolutely exceptional. And the Yankees, I don't think, would be anywhere close to where they are without him.
And it's going to be really interesting if Soriano comes back sometime soon and what they're going to do with him. If they're going to keep him in the 8th inning role, or if they're going to move him to like maybe the 7th inning and put Soriano in the 8th and just have like a 3-headed monster towards the end of the games. But
I mean,
really interesting what they're going to do.
I know he's been hurt and he really hasn't pitched much, but I think Brian Cashman was right. The Rafael Soriano signing was a bad signing. Sometimes you just
didn't agree with it all along, and
I said
he's the one laughing right now.
I don't think he's laughing, but I think that it's going to be interesting with Cashman, and we're going to get to that probably later in the year or closer to the offseason. It's actually the last year of Brian Cashman's contract with the Yankees, and it's going to be interesting because he's been butting heads a little bit with the front office, the president and the owners, the younger Steinbrenners. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to stay on, or does he actually want to fulfill his wish and try to move on to a younger team or a less payroll team, because he's kind of hinted that's what he's wanted to do for a while now. Also moving on to my unsung hero, Jared Weaver for me has been absolutely sensational. He's 11-4, 1.86 ERA, and he's got a WHIP under 1. The kid, he's been around for a while. And
he's been on and off. He's had flashes of greatness, flashes of just decency.
I mean, I can remember the first Weaver, his brother breaking through with the Yankees, and then I saw Jared Weaver. I was like, oh my God, just what Major League Baseball needs is another Weaver. But Jared Weaver has been absolutely fabulous, and he's been great again this season. Nobody talks about him, even though I believe he's going to be starting the All-Star game, but still nobody talks about him in the reaches of Cy Young. Everybody's pointing right now to Verlander or CC Sabathia as really the two guys headed for the AL Cy Young. But really, it should be Jared Weaver, because his number, anytime you see a guy with an ERA, a starter's ERA under 2, I think that's absolutely marvelous. And I think he should be talked about every single day and every time he goes out for a start.
And I got 2 words for you regarding Jared Weaver: contract year. And that's really what it comes down to. He's playing for a big contract. He's 28, entering his prime, looking for a lot of money. And, if he finishes up the year with, 17, 18 wins, and maybe he's not going to have an ERA under 2, but, if he has low 2s, 2.5 or below, he's looking at a huge contract next year, which is just what he wants. And, the Angels, they play in a division where it's up for grabs. Anyone can walk away with it. So he could actually have a huge impact on his team going forward.
Speaking of, you just mentioned contract years for Jared Weaver. That's a nice little segue onto our next topic, which is the worst signings of the 2011 season. I know you've got a pretty good one, and I've got a pretty good one, and we're going to get to them right after this message. So, worst signings so far this season. We've got some pretty good names. My guy who, let's be honest, he's been abysmal, Jason Worth. He signed a 7-year and $126 million contract. Everybody's, just to go from Philadelphia to Washington, everybody's been saying, this guy's a good signing. He's a good player, but let's be honest, he's hitting .215. He's got 10 home runs and 31 RBIs. It's not like you can say he's been hurt.
No,
he's been 100% healthy. He's been playing every game, and he's just been horrible. I don't know if you plug that into he had amazing hitters around him in Philadelphia, and now he's got nobody around him in Washington.
That's exactly what I think it is.
Is he trying too hard because he has a big contract, or to be honest, is he just not that good of a player?
I mean, honestly, you said it perfectly. It's a combination of all 3 of those. I always thought Jason Worth, playing with the Phillies, was a good player. He played in that small ballpark in Philadelphia, hit a lot of home runs. He played some pretty good defense, and he was just a solid player. But he wasn't the main player on that team. He wasn't the Ryan Howards, the Chase Utleys, and he just fit right in, had no pressure on him at all. And now he steps into Washington, where he's the man there. He's making the big money. He's really one of the few big hitters on that team besides Ryan Zimmerman, and he's got a lot of pressure on him, and he's not performing up to his standards.
And this is a team that you start to think maybe they have a chance to get better over the future. They had their 2 first overall draft picks, Strasburg, but then he had to get surgery. Mm-hmm. And you've got Bryce Harper, who just got moved up to AA ball, I believe, but it's still going to be years before you see him in a Major League uniform. You've got the Z-Pack over at third base, but, when you think he wants to move on from Washington, he's served his years in Washington. They really haven't gotten better. Is he going to move on? They have signs, though, that they might be getting better, but Jason Worth has to click through. And when I look at Jason Worth, somebody made the point that at some point they had to make a big signing so even if they were going to overpay for Jason Worth, they had to be able to show the rest of the baseball free agency that they're going to try to spend money, and that can attract other players to come here, which kind of reminds me of when Rubinho moved to Man City, and he was the first big star signed for Man City, and has attracted other stars to come over there, even though he left because he's, to be honest, terrible at City. Other stars have been attracted, like a Tevez, like a Dzeko, like a David Silva since. But that's another topic.
And leave it up to Drew to come up with a soccer reference when we're talking about baseball. But I'll give you my
sports
pick.
All connected in the same way. They're all connected.
My pick, I mean, obviously, Jason Worth is no-brainer just because of his huge contract. But if I had to pick a second player who was the worst signing, I'd go with Adam Dunn on the White Sox. Adam Dunn, player who's always struck out a ton and hit a lot of home runs. And he played for the Nationals most recently, and everyone was saying this guy belongs in the AL as a DH. And what does he do? He gets a big contract, goes to the White Sox for $54 million over 4 years, and struggles beyond belief. He has 9 home runs, something like 35 RBIs, and he's hitting under 200. He's batting 160 right now. And we're halfway through the season. To be batting 160 as an everyday player is pretty awful, to be honest with you.
When you're hitting under the interstate, you're having some huge issues. Other guys to just throw out there, Dan Oglaw has been horrible with the Braves, and I'm a Yankees fan, but I'm going to quickly throw people under the bus. Soriano hurt, and Feliciano hurt, but he's proper terrible anyways. I don't know why they signed him. So that's it for our baseball points over the first couple of months of the season. Thanks for tuning back to Off and Running, and we'll see you guys soon.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, OffandRunningg with 2 G's at the end.
Peace.